right, baby. Welcome back to another episode of Scream Fix, your destination for all your screaming needs. I'm Will, as always. Here with me is, I guess it's a thing now, my illustrious co-host. If you don't call me that next time you do this, I'm going to be offended. But Feller, as I think he's decided to go by, and I feel like we also should mention that every time. It's kind of a thing. Anyway.
Yeah. Full name introduction, but then the explanation that I will only be going by a feller.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that as well.
So yeah, Scream Time, which, Scream Time kind of sounds like screen time.
Yeah, maybe we should have named this Scream Time. That sounds
Ooh.
good. Shit.
We could always start over if this, we
I'm not afraid to start over.
Yeah.
Just delete it
Let's
all.
take it back.
Yeah.
But no, it's basically time for screaming. We got your feedback again that, I think they ran it through analytics, and by time we're only about like 0.8% scream throughout the podcast. So those are rookie numbers. We're going to try to get those numbers up to at least like 10% probably this ep, because we're about to get started here in just a second. And really, I've been training my lungs, so I think I could go for a while, but we'll see. I mean, that's coming right up. But
mouth stretches for it,
yeah, I've been doing my vocal warm-ups right before we went live here, actually. The me me mamo, me me mamo moo. Remember that from what was her name? Miss
I'm searching for it in my brain.
She had a fake leg.
Yeah, she did, which sounds not true.
I shouldn't have laughed, but
Signagio?
yes.
Yeah, I don't know why you're laughing. She was awesome.
She was awesome. It brought back a lot of memories.
I can see a reflection of you in my glasses.
You can?
That's what I've become obsessed with. Yes.
I can't. You have like eagle eyesight?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I've just been staring at it long enough now, messing around with how to dodge the screen reflection.
I can
And
kind of,
I've now can see you in here. This is you right here. You should wave at yourself.
I can see like the image, but my eyesight sucks, so I can't see it well enough to like make out what it is.
I'll have to figure out how to get rid of that someday, but I don't really care right now. We got bigger things.
We do.
We're about to scream.
We got screaming to do.
Yes.
So have you thought about like what type of scream you might even work with this week yet, or you still kind of workshopping it?
Yeah, so I got a new camera and I haven't set everything up yet, so I'm just using my office equipment. And because of that, I'm kind of in this new environment. I don't know if you can see it over my shoulder because I don't know what's in pain because Will's smart and handles all of that. Thank you, Will. But over here, right here, we have an axle. And what an axle is the dopest character from Kingdom Hearts.
Oh yeah, I
I'll be
can't see it.
screaming. Yeah, nice, cool. Okay, all right, cool. I'll even move it up further, maybe.
I can see that, and your like evil scientist mathematical formulas back there.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. Wait, don't read those. Those out. It'd be cool if I could erase that right now.
I would wonder how you did that with your superpowers that you never told me about.
Yeah, that would be cool. That's how I reveal it. I erased a whiteboard, and then I had to explain who I was. No, but I'll be screaming something like Axel from Kingdom Hearts when he gets lit on fire.
Oh,
He's the dopest character. Spoiler alert.
he is.
If you don't know, go play the game.
He's top 3 and he's not 3. Let's put it that way.
There we go. But what about you? What are you gonna scream like?
So I was I don't know how necessarily this will work with our format, but I did have an idea, and it was.
Oh, I love ideas.
It was like someone who gets shot, that like the adrenaline is pumping through them, so they don't even realize they've been shot, and then it's kind of
a Punisher scream.
Yeah, and then it's kind of like a slow realization that like I don't want to do it yet, but kind of like a delayed onset scream because they didn't realize, which I don't know if that'll work because you'll already be screaming, so the nuance of my performance might get a little bit lost, but
yeah,
we'll see, I guess.
I love it. I think it's a great scream idea.
All right, well, let's I mean, we might as well get into it, I guess.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Do you want to give us a countdown, or should I do the countdown this week?
You can count us down.
Okay. Well, let's stop stalling. Ugh.
Yeah,
Hope
yeah.
that
Here we
came through.
go.
That was a good little pop. All right.
I heard something.
All right. Did you see the new episode of Falcon before we do this real quick?
Yeah, I did. I did. I liked it. I liked it.
Oh, dude, me too. Zemo's back, baby.
Yeah, love that they brought Zemo back. We get to see a little bit of the backstory with that Carly girl. You know, we
Yep,
see
yep.
her bedside, we see her outside plotting, saying, "Yo, this is about to get real." I liked that, and then brought back one of my favorites, Sharon Carter, got to come save the boys.
Yeah.
That whole area though, that whole thing was very cool.
Madripoor.
Yeah, Madripoor,
It's
very cool
crazy.
place. I'd love to go. Spring break 2022. We're headed to
We got to
Madripoor.
update our wardrobe though. If Sam's
Yeah,
any
they were looking
indication.
fresh. I loved that. I loved it though. And then even the Zemo escape was like Ocean's 13 to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like I was
yeah,
like, oh, this is awesome.
100%. Where they're kind of like the heist already happened, and they're just explaining it as we get to see it type of
Yeah, and I liked
device.
Sam to me was very much like the audience in that moment where he was like, "I don't like how like nonchalant you're being about
Yeah.
this." And he's like, "Wait, what are we even?" You know, he like comes back to it and he's like, "Oh yeah, wait, this is real life for me." But yeah, I liked all that stuff. Even the whole tease for Agent Carter talking to somebody else. It's like, "Oh, who's on the other end of that phone call?" I'm
Um,
excited.
Remind me when that happened again.
After they went, they've got, they found out where the serum was, and they went and confronted that guy.
Yeah.
Zemo shot him. They roll out. They're all going different ways. Then Zemo ends up saving everybody, kind of.
Oh,
When
right,
they get in
right.
the car with Zemo and leave, she gets in a car with somebody else, like takes a phone call and says,
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah,
"We
yeah.
have a problem," which
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of
Two
sounded
of
to
them
me like a
actually.
little Maria Hill. So kind of made me feel like maybe that was Samuel on the other end of that phone call,
Oh,
potentially.
interesting.
Who do you think was on the other end of the phone call?
Well, I need to watch the episode again because I know what you're talking about. I thought she was just talking to her driver. I didn't realize she was on the phone at that point.
Oh, maybe she wasn't. That would explain a lot.
Maybe she was though. Maybe she was.
No, maybe she wasn't. That's so great. Oh man, I hope that she was. Otherwise, I'm gonna feel very foolish. But that wouldn't be a new hat to wear for me, so I'm okay with that. Um, but what was your favorite part of the episode?
Oh man, my favorite part. I mean, it had to be just the whole like everything with Zemo. Really was probably my favorite part. And did you happen to see the whole like release the Zemo cut stuff that was going on Twitter?
Oh no, I did not. I try to stay away from Twitter. Tell me more. Tell me more.
So you know that scene where he's dancing in the club?
Yeah, that was fun. I was glad
That
they worked that in.
so that went like viral and became like a big thing. And so the actor, I can't think of his, Daniel Bruhl came to me. Um, he did an interview, or somebody found an interview where he was talking about that scene, and he's like he kind of improved that because he was like he's been in jail all this time and he's in Madripoor, and he's like he's gonna let loose a little bit. So he was like, I actually did like a whole thing for like 30 minutes just dancing, and he's like I didn't he's like I didn't think they were gonna put any of that in, and so I was surprised to see them put that couple seconds in. And so then Twitter did a hashtag release the Zemo cut so they could see the whole dance. And they put out it wasn't like 30 minutes, but they put out like a minute long clip. But even more hilariously, they put out a YouTube video that was it like an hour long of it repeating, and called it the Zemo
Oh
cut.
my. I would like to see that though.
It's
I agree.
hilarious. Um,
Yeah, I'm with you. That's probably the best part of the episode.
but yeah, just like I know this is kind of cheating because it's a lot of the episode, but basically everything with him, like I love to see just kind of like we learn more about him and more about his character, and just like he's a total badass, which we kind of already knew from Civil War.
Yeah, yep. And a lot. What I liked was a lot of Marvel doesn't make you assume things, and if they haven't told you something and we assume it, they will end up telling us later, and that may sound confusing. But like the Scarlet Witch, they never called her the Scarlet Witch. Then they were
Right.
like, "And now you're the Scarlet Witch," and it was like a moment, and it was cool for them to be able to turn something that we already knew into a moment. So I kind of felt
Yeah.
like Zemo, who we had the own. I'm not a big comic book person, as I mentioned before, but we have a movie with him in it, so I'm going to read and see different stuff and kind of know that character even from just the comic book lore and TV shows and everything else. But they don't necessarily do a lot of the stuff that I know is true. And then instead, now we're like, oh yeah, he's a baron and he's really wealthy, and all these things that you technically already knew, but they're kind of like, oh, cool, like you just said. I'm learning more about him. So it's cool how they can even take that and do that and have those moments. But I totally agree. Everything, and even just like the iconic outfits and him grabbing the mask and stuff, I think is just so well done. I
Yeah.
love it.
I agree. And it almost like I not to dive into how much we know, but I also don't know too much about the comics. But I did going into Civil War. I knew a little bit, and I was almost a little surprised. Like I loved him in Civil War, and I thought he was an awesome villain. But I was expecting more of the masked version of him. When I heard Zemo was going to be in Civil War, I was expecting that guy that's like actually kind of in it more. Where this in Civil War, he was kind of like the brains behind the scene that was pulling all the strings. So that's kind of what I expected we get more of here. And like then they kind of
Right.
hit us with the Batman, like he's Batman almost. Like I didn't know he was that rich. Like he's rich to the level of he's been in jail, he gets out and he still has like a butler and a private jet like on deck. Like how
hmm
rich is he? Like and
I don't know.
so that kind of surprised me. And then just the fleet of super awesome cars that he had just sitting in that warehouse and um
Yeah, I think too. It's just fun how they flesh out. You know, he was. I think watching him in the first installment of the character in the MCU, you're waiting for him to be like the psychopath person, evil villain type, and instead he's like very logical and methodical, and
yeah.
like even gives himself up at the end for his cause. And we get the same stuff here even now, even as he's like, all right, now I'm going to show you the villain side. I'm being broken out. I'm going to take you to the villain city basically, and show my connections and everything, but while still holding true to that character. And instead of thinking that whole first installment like, oh, he's going to break evil and go bad, and then not getting it, now we kind of know not to be looking for that. So it's, I think, maybe easier to digest and enjoy, and appreciate, probably is the best word to use. Appreciate more the character for who he is as he's being played. Because I really like him. I think he's very interesting. I like that he doesn't necessarily have superpowers or anything. He's just like a brilliant, well thought out, self-made badass. Not self-made, but like self-made in the villain part of it, not necessarily given up power or granted abilities or anything like that.
Yeah, and I mean he obviously beyond the money, which we don't know. I mean, I guess that's probably his family money. He probably is not the one that made it. So not self-made in that sense, but definitely self-made in the sense that like dude's a genius and has like awesome skills that earned him the position of he was the leader of like a special forces kill squad in Sokovia, I think was like the backstory he was given from Civil War. So he's like no like he knows what he's doing. I'm trying to think of who he would be compared to that like on the hero side, and I can't really think of anybody. No one's really like a soldier.
Um, yeah, I'm trying to think if I could think of an example.
Um,
Maybe like Hawkeye,
yeah,
uh,
okay, yeah,
without the insane aim type of stuff,
yeah,
but
or yeah.
like,
I guess like maybe like Black Widow and Hawkeye. That's probably the
mm,
closest. Um, but while we're on Zemo, I guess I'll just go ahead and touch on this. I liked that first we see him with Bucky walking up to him. He just starts reciting the the mind control words. That's the first move, and I just loved it because one, it was like a power move, being like, like even though the tables are kind of turned where I'm in jail, you're coming to see me. Like, nah, I'm still gonna flex on you that like you know, you think he might even be a little bit more submissive in that moment, but no, just first off the bat, like, let's bring up all the trauma and how I did this. And also, I liked it as a viewer to kind of cement the fact that, like, that's no longer gonna work on him because, like, it kind of happened
Exactly.
off screen. Like, yeah, he got frozen
They
in
did it
Wakanda.
immediately.
Yeah. So I love that. And
Fun parallel too, the first time he was saying the words Bucky's in the imprisonment, now he's imprisoned and he's still saying the words to Bucky on the outside. And he's like, yeah, that doesn't work on me anymore.
yep,
Which again, to me, something I said last time we recorded, like where's Wakanda? Why isn't Wakanda involved? And that ended up getting dropped at the end of this ep.
yep,
And so I loved that. And the fact that they've even like I would love any dialogue in the next this coming episode for there to be like, hey, by the way, so, something that lets us know like the village misses you, or so and so Cherie said to tell you what up, like anything to like make it feel like his family or that he has a special connection. I liked that he was able to pick up on the tracking and walked out and like called him out and they came out and talked to him. I loved that already.
yep,
But I hope there's some kind of special thing there, just because to me, and I'm sure there will be. To be honest, I don't think it's like a big ask or revelation to have her show that in this. I think it makes sense, especially with them now showing up for that to be part of Bucky's story here on this show. So hopefully something like that, and hopefully we get to see some badass moves. Nobody's more of a badass than those guards
yeah.
from Wakanda. I'm trying to think of the name of the guards. I can't.
The Dormelage.
Dormelage. Yeah, yeah, that's right.
And
Dormelage.
that was I think that was Ao. Like, that's a character we've seen a few times. I think that
Yeah,
was
I
her.
think I agree.
Um,
Um,
yeah, I'm super excited for all that. Like you just said, like, I've been wondering about that connection, and hopefully it kind of builds on the relationship he had as the White Wolf and, like, his time in Wakanda. Maybe, like, I think he was meant to see those beads, right? Like, that wasn't a him just noticing it and investigating. I
no,
think
they
that
were
was like,
a
hey,
signal to
yeah,
him.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So I like even
like
that,
that
like,
carve a
they're
symbol into a post, and you walk by the post, and you're like, "Oh, I
yeah.
recognize that symbol. I'm gonna go look for you." Yeah, I agree.
uh, and so I like that even they have the, I guess, respect would be the word to maybe, like, okay, Bucky's with Zemo. Like, they want to kill Zemo.
Right.
Obviously, he killed their king. So it's like, all right, well, let me talk to Bucky first before just, like,
Yeah.
diving in. So I like that, and
That's yeah. Me too. Me too.
I feel like that's,
Mm.
if not the whole episode, we got to get that in this next one, right? Like, an exploration of that, like, surely, like, of
I hope they don't like disappear. Like we get them after you're done, and that's it. Like I feel like that would be a waste, and I
yeah,
don't think Marvel's not wasteful at all. Everything means something. They take advantage of every little possibility. I imagine since Zemo's in this, and I don't think there wasn't someone in the room when Marvel was planning this out to be like, hey, let's use this opportunity to do this. Instead, I would think we could see them for the rest. We have 3 more episodes. I think
yeah,
they could be in all 3. I would love that.
that'd be
And
awesome.
maybe at least 2. Hopefully at least 2. Maybe they wrap up their story in the penultimate and then, the fallouts and then the next one. But um I got another question for you. Do you think they still have powers, right? I think me and you had been talking about maybe they do have powers and they were lying about it, or they might be getting them eventually from the power broker. I kind of had a theory that I thought he might already have powers because of some of the things that were going on with him.
Are we
I
talking about
still feel
John?
like John,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
And,
Sorry,
and I
continue.
still think that they're showing little things of like him, like, and maybe it's just supposed to be his character and I'm reading too much into it, but I feel like they're showing like him being discomforted very easily and intense and stuff. And I feel like there's something that could be there, but maybe I'm wrong. Um, and the reason why I think I'm probably wrong, and I don't not feeding into my own theory as much anymore, is because that opening scene where they find the people and he's like, "Do you know who I am?" and he like
Yeah,
freaks out. I
yeah,
think if he had powers in that moment, he would have hurt that person by accident. I don't think he would have had restraint to be like, "Oh, let's not kill this guy that I've got grabbed," even though,
that's a good
you
point.
know. Yeah, so I'm thinking he might not have them.
Hmm.
Now, how are you feeling on any kind of power theories, past, present, or future for these guys?
I could see it going either way. Like so, like I'm open to either being the truth, and if it whichever one's revealed, I'll be like, okay, yeah, that I can see how they set that up. But like money on the table, if you made me guess right now, I think he doesn't
Oh
have
man,
powers. But
money on the
I'm not going
table.
to be mad
Love
if
that.
it turns out he does. But because for all the like a lot of reasons we've talked about, but I think he doesn't yet, and I think that because I think it kind of like he's he's building to some sort of moment, right? Where like we all like a lot of people already hate him. We've already talked about this at length, so I won't go into it again. But I like him so far. Like I mean, I don't. He's not Steve or anything, but he could be way worse than he's been. So let me put it that way. Like so, I
I
think
feel
I'm.
like he's.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I'll do it. Um, I think it is building to something to your point though, because I feel like he keeps continuously feeling his limitations. And it
Yes.
seems like he thought he would get the shield and go. And
Yes.
then he had to shake hands. And then he had to do the press tour. And then he got there and he got his ass kicked. And then now they can't get their own leads. And it's like, you know, Captain America's friends don't want me to play with me. You know, they took the ball and went home with it. I think all of that's going to build to him snapping, and I think maybe
Yes.
by the time he snap. Well, let me even before I go any further ask you another question. Do you
I'm.
think we see the? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna play off what you just said since that was just a great list right there. For
Okay,
everything
go
you
ahead.
just said, that's why I think he doesn't have powers, and I think there is gonna come a moment where like he snaps or whatever, and that's going to be like he's going to take the serum, like all that's going to lead up to him like feeling like he's powerless in a way, and so he's going to take the serum, and that's when he's kind of like going to lose it, maybe like in the next time where he would have just been like, you know who I am, but like restrained, like you won't be able to, and he's going to do something like that he kind of can't take back, or I don't know. But I think that's kind of like the
Can
arc they're building towards, is like this mounting explosion that's going to be set off by the fact that he now is serumed up.
and the more I'm convinced that that's where they're headed, the more I'm also convinced that I like Hoskins. He's great. He keeps
Hoskins
telling
is
him
the
like calm
dopest.
down,
Yeah.
keeps giving him like 3 sentences of dialogue, great advice. Oh, good, that's what he needed to hear. I'm glad
Mm-hmm.
someone told him that. Like I don't want to be the guy that like doesn't like the new guy's sidekick just because I don't like the new guy necessarily because I'm not really convinced about this Johnny Walker fella. And
Yeah.
I'm like I said, I'm building in suspicion towards it. But in the same rate that I'm building in suspicion towards him, I keep falling in love with this other guy over and over. So I
Yeah.
think that he might get pulled back. I think that he might potentially be what restrains him. Um, and maybe he's about to blow up, but instead he stops himself and he's like, "Oh God, I can't." Did everyone just see me almost blow up? My bad. And then Hoskins like, "It's
Ooh.
okay." And then he drops the shield and he's like, "I am not ready for this." That would be like the fairy tale hopeful thing, and I feel like Hoskins is someone who's building himself up to be a person that could do that. Because again, they're these side characters are the people who end up driving home all the points like Bucky did for Captain America. Like he like half of what Cap did was about Bucky and rescuing Bucky in the
Yeah.
MCU. And so um that leads me to another question that I have. Are
Okay.
you seeing any parallels between how Bucky is maybe trying to use Zemo and how Captain America kind of was trying to save Bucky, Bucky had done wrongs. Cap believed in him. He now has changed himself at all. Bucky's now breaking out Zemo. Do you think he's like hoping that Zemo can help them save the day and prove he's a good person, or do you think he's gonna let Wakanda just kill the guy after, or do you think he's gonna take him back to jail? What do you think Bucky is as far as his connection to Zemo right now? Do you think he's his protector? Do you think he's just using him? Do you think it's like what do we think? Where is he standing right now?
As far as how Bucky views Zemo,
Yeah, is he going to let him go at the end of this? Is he going to put him back in jail? Does he think that he could potentially like if he lets him go? It's obviously because Zemo's done something and he's like he's earned the right to go, which would be totally. shocking to me.
Yeah.
But I imagine more so he escapes at some point. But do you think, as far as Bucky's thinking, like he's going back to jail, or I'm going to give him up to Wakanda to die, or I'm going to let him go if he helps us? You know, like what do we think here, or what
I,
do you think?
so this is a great question because it leads into something else I kind of wanted to talk about on the whole. So I'll transition into that after answering your question. I think that right now, I honestly think that Bucky's just trying to complete his current mission, which is like figure out this super serum thing going on, figure out this flag smashers, and he recognized that Zemo was the best means to that end, right? So I think that he maybe didn't even know what he was going to do come into game. Like I honestly don't even think he maybe thought that far ahead. I think he just thought that like Zemo's the tool I can use to get this done. And I think maybe he was like, and if Zemo like dies during this, maybe who gives a shit? Because like, but I think that through the journey of them working together, perhaps he does soften to him and and let him go, or maybe not that extreme, but maybe just at least not execute, like sign his execution by means of giving him to Wakanda or whatever it may be. But I think at least in Bucky's mind, like when he thought of this plan, he didn't really like care what happened to Zemo. It was more of just how do I do what I need to do, and Zemo's the way. So what do you think?
I just think it's currently, and I'll stick to currently. I think that he's probably going to want to give him up to Wakanda, and then Sam's going to be like, "No, we need to take him back to jail." That's kind of where I think they might be heading.
That'd be an
But
interesting dynamic.
yeah, but what I think that the main part of this episode to me was, um, seeing Sam trust Bucky, in the way that he noted, like, "Hey, you always trusted uh, Cap, even when you were dealing with me. You trusted him wholeheartedly." Um, so I thought that was a good sign for their relationship, but also just a nod to, and I think they're gonna probably do this for everybody, but just show how, and really, I feel like they're gonna show how you know uh, Bucky has become like a good guy and how he could be worthy of the shield. And they're going to show how Sam could be worthy of the shield. And then
Yeah.
they're probably going to show how John's not worthy of the shield. And who knows where it ends up. But I think that they're kind of trying to work in different ways to show them being their versions of Captain America. And I think Bucky's version is, Steve did whatever it took for what he believed in, and I'm going to do the same. And so he's breaking out Zemo to go get the good guys, the W, even though they're having to do it beyond means that other people probably wouldn't allow because they know what's at stake is greater than what, the military forces would consider. And so they're not doing it with the military, also very a Cap move. So I just kind of feel like this is Bucky showing some of his side of how he would be Captain America, anything at all costs. And I think it'll go wrong. And I think Zemo is obviously going to escape and cause havoc. And he's had some opportunities too, and he didn't. So he's probably smart enough to wait and really take advantage of the time that matters most. Right now, they have a common goal. But I imagine it goes wrong, and that's why kind of he like is shown that he can't be Captain Rogers.
I Okay, so I had a few things I wanted to respond to there. So before it leaves my brain, quickly wanted to comment on the fact that Zemo could have left like 2 or 3 times that ep. Like when they got ambushed in Madripoor, which I want to talk about
He
that.
runs a different way.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
was like, okay, like that's how he gets
he's gone.
away, and yeah, like now there's gonna be a new storyline of them trying to chase him down, but no, he came back. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Season 2.
And then after the explosion in the laboratory where they found the scientists, like he also could have gotten away there. But
Yeah,
I
I
just
mean, he comes back and saves everybody.
yeah, and I just really like that we're seeing that side of his character while he is kind of like morally gray and in some areas maybe all the way to black, but he he has beliefs and he's following those, and his
Yep.
beliefs are like no super soldiers, like
Yeah.
to put it simply at this point, like, and so he's like he's
Get,
doing
get, get, get,
yeah, he's
get, get.
he's doing whatever it takes to do that, and he realizes that Bucky and Sam, although
Are
enemies of
his
his in
best
a
bet.
way, are his, like, that's what he needs to accomplish his goals, so he's with it. And just another point on that same kind of thread, I love that, like, man's smart enough to find a hidden gun, and I was like, oh gosh, here's where he like uses this to get away,
Kills
but
everybody. Yeah.
yeah, I know, but he just kills the scientists, like, because that's like how hardcore like his belief system is, and like that's what he's there to accomplish. And I was like, this is a dope character.
Leaves, go puts on the mask, and is like, now save everybody too.
Yeah,
But I agree. I think that's all coming from a selfish motivation of knowing they're
yeah.
his best bet to getting this done.
Uh, and so okay, and on that, and kind of on what you were just saying about Bucky as well, which I agree with everything you said, but I did have a little bit of a caveat, which I'm not saying you were saying this, but let me clarify that I do think Steve did. I won't say what he did what it took, but I wouldn't say he just did whatever it, like he still had a moral code, and yet he went against what the law was at the time, like because he was an outlaw to save Bucky. But I'm not sure that Steve would have necessarily broken Zemo out of jail, like in a similar circumstance. Maybe he would have,
No,
but
no, no, right. And I'm saying it's Bucky's take on being Steve.
okay,
Like he
okay, yeah,
sees Steve's like willingness to do whatever it takes, and he's like, I'll do that too. And like this is his bastardized version of doing that. And it
gotcha.
looks like this, which is different, and it won't work. I don't think it's gonna work. And that's like another point of like why he can't his Captain America won't be sufficient.
Right. Okay. Which I think the kind of like even the maybe the theme that they were trying to show us in this episode, like you already pointed on, was like the different versions of these people as they would be Cap. Could kind of, and I'm sure this was intentional, but Baron Zemo was reading Machiavelli in the jail cell. They even pointed it out.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
one of his big things was the ends justify the means. And I think we're kind of seeing each person's like interpretation of that, except Steve
Yes.
was not that. Like Steve, I can't remember what movie it was in, but he even said like it matters how we do this. You remember that? Like it was something like that. And maybe, unless I'm making that up, but I think like that because he was, like the red-blooded moral dude, and yet he like went outside the law when he disagreed with it, but like he wasn't just doing whatever he thought, Anyway, I think that kind of is what makes Cap the guy that's like willing to do it the right way. And we know that even by explicit example, New Cap said to Hoskins this episode, he's like, do you really think they're going to care how we did it as long as we do it? So that's like anti-Steve. Bucky here is kind of ends justifying the means by breaking out Zemo. He's like, this is the tool I need to get the job done. Like, so be it. Like, I think that also is kind of showing, while he does have Cap qualities, that I feel like it also is kind of showing maybe he's not the one for the job. But here we have Sam being the one that's like questioning this, being like, what? Like, you breaking him out of jail? And I think that maybe it's kind of showing that like Sam is the closest to Steve.
Yeah.
And even aside from the Captain America counterparts, I think we got Carly Morgenthau, the Flag Smasher girl. Her ends justify her means. She's blew up that whole building of people. She was like, this is the only way they operate. Like,
Yeah, how many people do you think died from that explosion? Because
I
I
mean,
watched it the first time and didn't think it was that big, but then the second time in the background, you see the whole building on fire.
yeah, I
And
mean,
I was like, "Wait, did she straight up kill everybody we just saw?"
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, at least like a few dozen. I feel
I
like,
I don't know. I would agree with you. It seemed like anyone in that building probably just died, and it showed a big room of them. But like the bomb was on the outside, so I thought that might be how they kind of justify not killing people with it. But I don't know. That sorry to interrupt, but that part blew my
no,
mind. I was like, oh, whoa, okay.
yeah, and I mean, especially with her compatriots, like kind of surprise and outrage in that moment. I think it was definitely like, yeah, all those people are dead. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
but then
Everybody was like, what?
I like that actor, by the way. I guess because he's Kiwi, I think. So I just got a soft spot for New Zealand people. But uh, Oh yeah, and just to close this example off, the ends justifying the means. I feel like we also see that with Sharon, who, let me touch on her in a minute because I don't want to sidetrack myself here, but like she kind of became whatever it is she is here, but obviously she's well connected and kind of probably has gotten her hands dirty to get where she has. And then Zemo, which we already kind of talked about, but clearly his ends justify his means because he's using, Avengers to do what he wants. And I don't know. I feel like this kind of encapsulated the theme that they're trying to display here on the whole about like the true successor to Steve Rogers and how, you know, a lot of these characters are examples of what he wouldn't do.
Yeah, I totally agree. And Zemo, his ends justified his means. We saw that when he took over Bucky and he killed all those people
Yeah,
just to get
there you
all
go.
that information. Like he 100% was willing to do whatever it took just to bring down those gods and turn them against each other. But tell me about your. I feel like you got something for me on Sharon Carter. Let me
Okay,
hear that.
yeah. So first of all, like if she like does a heel turn and like fucks them over, they deserve it honestly, because like they screwed her. Like everyone on the good guy team really screwed her. Like even Steve, like what the hell? Why didn't he ever
And
like?
they're like, "We need a favor."
Yeah,
Right after she's like, "Hey guys, remember me? Do you remember me? Oh, you need a favor?" It's like, nah, dude. She doesn't want to do you guys any favors.
yeah. Like what?
But
Like how did like that?
whatever, she must be like crushing on one of them hard, or she's setting them up.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like
I thought she was setting them up
she might
until they
still
went down
be.
there and it was the right crate. Well, she killed all those dudes down at the dock. Like I
That's
feel like
true.
that shows a lot of the loyalty there. But I I don't know. I thought the same thing you did. I was like, man, she could end up betraying them. And then I started thinking, I would if I was her.
I would
Like,
too.
I don't get to. She's like, I don't talk to my dad. He doesn't know who or where or like where I am. who who I am. My dad doesn't know who I am. No. But for real, like I thought the same thing. And then like hilariously, their first line of dialogue is Sharon, we need a favor. And his like justification was they're super soldiers. It's like, yeah, no shit. Like, of course there were super soldiers before, and we've had aliens and we've had a lot of other shit going on, Sam.
Yeah,
But you kind of forgot about me.
yeah. Like
And I
just
think Sam's also uh viewing this through a scope that nobody else is because he feels displaced in his own country. So maybe he looks at the flag smashers and he understands these people who were opened doors to, and then when the other second step happened, all of a sudden it was like, get out, our people are back. And the nations became nations rather than one world, one people type thing. And
yeah,
he looks at Sharon and he's like, whoa, this person is completely fucked over. And he even tried to like bargain with her and justify it and be like, whoa, 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 I was on the run too. And she was like, yeah, difference between was and is, Sam. And I'm like, dude, a fucking man, because that's so true.
yeah,
People like to not even in this context, but people in general love to be like, well, this happened to me, so whatever. And it's like, yeah, so who gives a shit? Like, was and is, and people, student loans, that's a great one. People are like, I had to pay all those off. It was fucking horrible and ridiculous, and they have to too now. And it's like, wait, why? Just because you already have, like you did, they are doing. Like, let's fix it now.
yeah,
And like for him, he's like, well, I was on the run. It's like, yeah, well, she is on the run. Try to do something to help out. And then, like she said, are you making me negotiate for like coming home to my country? Are we on the same team?
yeah,
I'm so confused. But I like this time away for her character. Like now she can literally do anything and be like, oh, I picked it up at this
yeah.
place. I can't talk about it.
And I mean,
Only cool cheese go there. Oh, everyone got saved. Oh,
she,
you need my help? What did I just do? I just helped you.
yeah, she was the MVP of that. Like even more than Zemo. Like she single handedly took out like 12 dudes while they were just chatting down there.
Yeah,
Uh,
the more I thought about it, I was like, you know what? As much as Zemo's gonna get credit for like leading them here and stuff, it's like, dude, they already had a contact, Sharon Carter. If they just reached out to Sharon and didn't forget she existed, They wouldn't even had to have broken Zemo out.
Right. And she's in, they broke it down. There's high society and low society. She was high
Yeah, she's up
society.
in high society,
Zemo
baby.
didn't even know anybody in high
Like,
society. He had to,
yeah,
so like she's connected.
more connected than him. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Do you think we see the power broker? At this
well,
point, I'm thinking we might not.
what if it's her?
Uh,
I mean, I don't know. I'm not like ready to get in bed with that theory, but I think it's
what were the text
definitely
messages? I can't remember them. Were
from,
any of them like cursing? Weren't they like, "I'm gonna fucking kill you. That's my shit. Give it back."
yeah, basically.
Yeah, I don't see Sharon sending those texts.
Well, that's fair. But
And she was like, "We got a problem," which I thought she was on the phone, which meant she's working with somebody else.
I think that
But
if
maybe there was
she's
no phone
not the
I don't even
power
know.
broker, then she's like one of his high people. Like she is a lieutenant. Like she's so connected, and she even okay. Rewind a little bit back to where before Sharon comes into the picture, where they're in the bar and talking to Selby, I think was her name. And first, she gets sniped. Like that was set up, and then during that chaos, they're all running away. Like they're gonna get killed, but like every bad guy chasing them gets gunned down. Like that wasn't just Sharon. That was like an orchestrated, like several people. And I think Sharon,
Could be
obviously,
just Sharon. Could
but
be
like
just
people were
Sharon.
shooting out of the windows and stuff, and then Sharon just like shows up running down the alley like a few seconds later. Like I guess they could hand wave and say it was just Sharon, but I think that was like an orchestrated amount of people, and like they were ready to assassinate that Selby girl. Like that, I don't think that was just like an accident. Like I think that was
Um,
almost like pinned on them on purpose. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I'm watching the episode just to see if she talks to somebody real quick.
Okay.
No,
Um.
so what she does is she puts her hand in her hair. I thought she was putting a phone up to her ear,
Oh,
but
gotcha.
she just says that to her driver. She's like, "We've got a problem." So you're right. And you've convinced me. I think she might be the power broker because when I went to go look up the episode and look at that small clip just now, the episode's called "The Power Broker."
Yeah. And one of the things Zemo says in the bar when he's like asking about the power broker is he's like, "Do you know him?" And he's like, "Only by reputation." So like the power broker's identity is kind of a secret, meaning like it could be her. Like it's not like
Selby knew who it was, though.
at least we don't know if she necessarily knew like who it was though. You know what I'm saying? Like you could have
Yeah,
dealings with them and still not know like their actual identity.
true. And FYI, Selby's a mutant from X-Men comics.
Say what? What?
Yeah.
Like more like what powers she had or anything?
Nope. I saw a tweet and I didn't click further because that's me. I was just like, oh, this is interesting.
That is interesting.
But that bar is apparently a big hangout. There's one of the signs that they go by is where Wolverine likes to hang out. And there was a character named Selby from that place in X-Men comics.
Okay,
So
yeah, I
it's
knew
kind of
Madripoor
fun.
is like a big comic place, but I didn't really know too much about it. Smiling Tiger is also an
Yeah.
actual
Yep.
thing from the comic, which I don't know. That's interesting because like obviously he actually exists, right? Because he was pretending to be him. So I
Hmm.
wonder if we'll see the real one. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, and it's cast as someone who looks exactly like him because he was like, I do look. This
Or
dude does look
or
like
what if
me.
Anthony Mackie just played him as well?
That would be hilarious. I'd love that so much. First off, keep getting those bags, man. Like double,
Right?
double fucking screen time. 2 paychecks. We'll take 2, please. Thank you. Um, but yeah, loved the episode. Like really, really, really loved it.
Me too.
I'm going blurry over
Yeah, I don't know
here.
why. You might need to like reset your hand in front of it to focus or something and kind of pull it out
Whoa.
slowly. Um, one other quick interesting thing about her being the power broker, or at least highly connected to them, is Selby in that little meeting they were having. Told them about the scientist, and then he was like, "All right, well, where do we find him?" And she's like, "The breadcrumbs are free. Like, you're gonna give me more information for something that important." And then she gets sniped, and the whole chaos ensues. But then, literally, like 30 seconds after Sharon hears this, she's like, "Oh, I figured it out." Like, so the information that was highly valuable to Selby, Sharon can find out in like 20 seconds, which also just I think shows how connected she is, and perhaps that she even is the power broker. But
Yeah, I'm convinced.
if
You
she
got
is
me.
though, why would she lead them right to her scientist who, I mean, maybe she thought that Zemo wouldn't kill him
Maybe that's why she didn't go down there at first either.
because she didn't want him to see her, or what? Or what are you saying?
Yeah, nailed it. He didn't want her. She didn't want him to recognize her in front of them.
Yeah, but it seems like that's an asset to her. This dude that's making super serum. So why lead the dude? She has to know that Zemo's gonna or at least wants to kill him. So like, why? Maybe she
But with
thought that.
Sam and Bucky there, she probably thought they're gonna stop that from happening.
I guess, but
Put her faith in the wrong people there.
yeah, and
They don't even like apologize. They're just like, "Oh, we got to get out of here," and then they both go different ways, which I think could come back up later. Like I'm going left this time. I'm
yeah,
going left.
neither of them's like submitting to the leader, submitting to the other one as the leader. Uh,
Yeah,
I'm thinking of other stuff about this power broker now because, like you said, she killed all those dudes. So why would she kill her own men? But maybe if her identity is like a mystery, then those dudes obviously don't know that that's the power broker, and she kind of has to like fight for her life. Like maybe that's a different tier of like.
you can't convince me she's not the power broker now.
I
That's all I'm
I
gonna
just
say.
I
You
think
got me.
she's at least connected to him, if not him. Um,
3 episodes left.
only three. But
What are we thinking here? I
uh,
mean,
well, one question for you, real quick.
I love questions.
Given the whole Madripoor arc that we
Okay.
saw, and even when Selby was assassinated and everyone's phone went off, like uh, bounty, you know what I'm saying? What'd that remind you of? Or anything, did it? Does
No,
it
I'm sorry, I'm failing you.
okay, no, you're
What do you
not. It
got?
reminded me of something, and I just wanted to see if it was just me. But John Wick, like the whole Madripoor, like,
Oh,
and even like the combat scenes with her was very like I was like, feels like so much like John Wick to me, and kind of like the world building of the Madripoor.
you think John Wick's about to be in the MCU?
Well, no,
Oh, let's
well
go!
that would be really cool. But so I had those thoughts, and then come to find out, the writer of this episode is the creator and writer of all the John Wick stuff, and I was like, oh,
Oh man, that had to feel really satisfying.
I was like, this
This
makes
feels like
sense.
John Wick. Who did this? Oh, I am a god.
And then like especially I've rewatched the scenes with Sharon where she's fighting. It feels very much like John Wick after me finding that out. I was like, oh yeah, 100%. Like just the action choreography and stuff. And it was pretty like violent too for Marvel. I felt like they had like blood splurts, and her like she like John Wick capped a few dudes like point blank and like did the kill shots and stuff too, which
Yeah,
I loved
nah.
it.
Yeah, me too. She was awesome. It was very, very cool. It's something I had hoped in the MCU for a while, and I hope that the Wakanda High Guard. I hope that they get their shot to shine here in an episode or two. Like really
Yeah,
fuck some people up. Like maybe some of the super serum soldiers that are like, "Oh, we got this." It's like, "No, you don't." And then they like, sweep the leg and then
that
fuck them
would
up
be
good or
that would
something.
be awesome if we saw AO just like completely dismantle some super soldiers.
Yeah, and these soldiers, they're not soldiers. They're superhumans, basically, because I don't think they were soldiers
You're
before. They
right.
just took the serum, so they're just throwing punches, and they're gonna be like, "You might hit hard, but you cannot hit me, and I'm gonna make you fall on your butt." And it's hard to
Yep.
throw a punch from there. So good luck.
Uh,
But maybe not. I don't know. That's what I would hope for in the
that would be
MCU.
awesome. I would love it if we got that. And I
I'd like to
also
see that and the power broker. I want to know who that
I
motherfucker is.
think we have to find out, right? Like we'll find that out surely. Maybe not. Maybe it'll be like a
Temple?
tease, but I did on the super soldier thing real quick. I liked that because this was a question I had is like why are like when Steve took it he got And so I was like, why is Carly Morgenthau still like a little girl and these dudes don't look that jacked? And so we got the explanation from the scientist being
Yep.
like, my serum is optimized. No more
Yeah.
machines and jacked up bodies. And I was like, okay, well, thank you for the explanation, Marvel. But
Yeah.
I want Steve's version.
Yeah. Show me a muscular small child,
Yes, please.
please. Um, go ahead.
Thanks. I was just seeing if I had any other big things that I wanted to remember to point out. Oh
Let me
yeah,
look through my notes.
I did have one thing. And this isn't this. I can't take credit for this, so I always like to throw that out there if this is something I just picked up and like to share. But there was a throwaway line that a few people are convinced was our first Easter egg at Latveria / Doctor Doom, which give you a really quick thing. Doctor Doom, you know, Doctor Doom is like big
Hmm.
Fantastic Four villain, but really he's just a overall Marvel villain. A lot of people's like favorite. Um, so people are excited that hopefully Marvel does him well. Anyway,
They do everything.
he's from Latveria, which I might be mispronouncing that, but that's like the country he's from, and eventually becomes like God King of and stuff. Which has never we've never seen it it's never seen or been mentioned in the MCU so far. But Zemo, when he's walking at the end of the ep with Bucky and Sam, talking about Sokovia, he's like, yeah, it was cannibalized by one of its neighboring countries. People are like, that could be the first signs of Latveria, like maybe post blip or during the blip that kind of is rising to power and kind of maybe took over the old land of Sokovia. Um,
Huh.
which I also thought that he made another great point of saying that like, yeah, the Sokovia Memorial. Have any of you been there? And of course they hadn't. And he's like, you motherfuckers, you all talk. So
Yeah. What's funny is that I'm falling to like Zemo more as a human than I am the new Captain
John
America.
Walker, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I like John Walker, as we've kind of said. I hope that, not to dive into this whole thing, but I kind of hope that like he is a part of the MCU moving forward, even like not as Cap, perhaps as U.S. Agent or just some other hero. But I kind of like him and would love to see like his arc fleshed out over like a much longer time. Of him. Clearly, he's not meant to be Cap, and I don't think he ever will like become Cap. But like just the journey of him like accepting that and being the kind of hero he could be. So I'm hoping he's not just this show thing, or even I hope he doesn't become like a just villain that dies or anything. But anyway, yeah, I like Zemo too. Got off on a tangent there.
No, no, you didn't. It was beautiful.
Uh, I'm hoping we get to see the Thunderbolts at some point, which is um, it's kind of like Suicide Squad, sort of, in that it's a bunch of villains that are like coming together to do missions, like good missions, if to put it very simply. And Zemo's the leader of them. So I think that would be cool to see, kind of like an anti-hero Zemo role instead of just pure villain.
I could see it.
Be cool.
Yeah.
Uh, John, I think we covered pretty much the big hits, but did you have anything else?
No, no, not at all. I do have a word from our sponsor, not sponsor,
Hmm.
Firehouse Subs.
Oh,
Go get a delicious sub.
let me guess. You got the
They're
Italian.
delicious. Yeah, yep, yep,
Yep,
yep.
yep.
It's
Dude,
Italian. It's a beautiful sandwich.
Firehouse subs.
Mm.
They make your sub go so fast it's on fire.
Mhm.
That's their
Mhm.
slogan, I'm pretty sure.
That's that fire. Oh man, my
Firehouse
camera.
subs. Um, we didn't really have any Fosnot moments. We probably did, but I didn't recognize it early enough to say. But we got to point out those Fosnot moments, man. I think that should be a thing for us.
I'm squinting at my computer because I think it's my fault. I don't know why my camera's doing this.
You might need to mess with like the auto adjustment settings or something.
There we go. Hmm.
Ooh. Um, I did have another bit idea just for more. I mean, not that we need more distractions to keep us from our screaming, but I'm gonna hit you with it fast. I just want a 10-second movie idea. Just the first thing that comes to your mind.
No, because I got tons of movie ideas, and it'll end up being a really good one, and I don't want people to steal them. That's just
Oh,
how I feel. That's just
nah.
how I feel.
But that's what I'm
Shooting
saying.
100.
Nah. All right. Well, then it's about a dude who's worried all of his ideas will be stolen.
And really never amounted to nothing. It's a sad story. um, I have a bit idea that I would like to do, and it's going to be called "Your Birthday Gift is Almost Done." And your birthday, which took place a few weeks ago, almost now,
Couple weeks ago. Couple
or
weeks ago.
uh, now still don't have your gift done. It's not complete, but we can do checkups, and I'll let you know the progress. Again, the progress now is almost done, which means probably around summertime is when I was told. June 26th.
Okay. I'm
It
very
might be
curious as to
complete.
what it is that
Best gift you'll ever get.
even
Best gift
takes
you'll ever get. Best
to
gift you'll ever get.
have a long manufacturing time, or like, is it shipping from very far away? Who knows?
I don't know. I don't know.
Who knows? Well, dude, I'm tired of you stalling with this Falcon. Should we get to our screams that I tried to get to like an hour ago?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
All right, I think I'm gonna. It still might not work, but maybe the spotlight will just be more on you this time. I don't know, but I am gonna go for my kind of delayed gunshot scream. And you were going for Axel on fire. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When he like engulfs himself on all the flames, the
Oh, so
cool
it's like
thing
a
is
is it like a power up move?
yeah, 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 yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So
He's
not
the
like
fire
I'm
guy.
burning
He's
in
the fire
agony.
guy. Well,
Okay.
I think he dies, but it's
Oh,
all good, man. It's
all
all
right,
good.
all right. Well, you want to do the countdown or me?
No,
Me? Okay.
you got it. Yeah, you
All
got
right.
it. You got
So,
it.
all right. I'm doing delayed gunshot. You're doing Axel fire.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. 5, 4, 2, 1.
Ah! Nailed it. Nailed it.